The Republican National Committee has been meeting in Las Vegas. It's their winter meeting. They go around the country. They're doing it in Las Vegas because Las Vegas is going to be a hot spot for the election in November. It's a swing part of the country. Democrats tend to control it, but there actually are a lot of independent voters. If you can do well in Clark County as a Republican, you can lose Clark County and win Nevada as long as you keep it close. So while they're out there, Charlie Kirk, Turning Point USA, and others have gotten together, and they've got a counter programming of grifters, hucksters, charlatans, fringe celebrities. This is where the Taylor Swift conspiracy theory, it's getting staged and promoted, among other things. And one of the things they're trying to do is deprive the RNC of cash. And it is working. Turning Point USA has over $23 million in assets. They've got a gross raised $81 million. I think that's over time, not just in a year, but this is all GuideStar public information. Kind of wild, the amount of money they've raised. Meanwhile, they're trying to get people to not give money to the Republican National Convention or to the Republican National Committee. I don't recommend giving money to the Republican National Committee or Turning Point for that matter. All of them have problems, but there's something that we really actually need to talk about. And this look, I don't want to bore you. But there really actually is something that you have to understand. And it's factual information. This is not my opinion. My opinion is the RNC sucks. My opinion is that every time there's a race for chair of the RNC, the outside consulting class goes nuts over trying to find someone who they can profit off of. Every single time there is a chairman's race for the RNC, the consultants divide up, pick sides, and fight over contracts and try to install their friends to get cushy kickbacks. It's a corrupt situation. But so is I personally believe, the Turning Point USA situation. To bring in that much money, to have all of these outside vendors who all the people inside have the outside relationships with, to be a 30-year-old in a $5 million house. It's not from talk radio, I can assure you of that. Your number two lives in a multi-million-dollar house. It has a $100,000 plus speedboat. You got a beach condo. You got a house on a private. It just, to me, it looks like a grift operation, and they're not putting points on the board. And they want the money. They don't want you to give it to the RNC. And there are lots of other outside groups in the same situation that want you to give them money instead of giving it to the RNC. But there's a real problem. And this is why I start this, because I need to educate you on the law here. So those of you who are tempted to say, burn it all down, listen, I have long fought the RNC. I have exposed graft, greed, corruption. My old website, Red State, the proprietors there have a piece up today on how much waste there is at Ronald McDaniel's RNC. There always is, spending money on flowers and media consultants and stuff like that instead of get out the vote operations. But there's a problem. The problem is this. Under federal election law, and I will remind you, I was an elections lawyer. This is not opinion. This is fact. Under federal election law, no outside entity is allowed to coordinate with a political campaign other than the political party itself. Now, what is coordination? Coordination is when the outside entities talk to the campaigns. So, for example, you, the campaign, see polling. Your internal polling shows that there is a persuadable group of women, and this message will persuade those women, but you don't have the money to target those women with the advertising. You can take that information to the political committee, whether it's the Democratic National Committee or the Republican National Committee, depending on your side, and you can say, here's what our internal polling says. This group of people is persuadable. Y'all use your money to target that group of people. That's coordination. The political party and the campaign can coordinate get out the vote operations, so they're not double dipping. You've got the political committee is doing the door knocking with the message given by the candidate. That's coordination. The political committee can move money to the campaign. So the campaign can say, hey, we're running low on cash. Can you give us some? The political committee can send them money, however much they need. Only the political committees can do that legally in the United States. So every other group is not allowed to talk to the campaign that's helping them. So take Never Back Down and Ron DeSantis, for example. There had to be a firewall between the campaign and Never Back Down because Never Back Down is a super PAC and the DeSantis campaign is a separate entity. This is one of the fundamental Achilles heels flaws with the DeSantis campaign is they were relying on Never Back Down, but were not allowed to talk to Never Back Down. So I know, for example, people at Never Back Down complained that the DeSantis team did not have a good message. And they were having trouble messaging in a way that related. Well, the only way for them to relay that to the DeSantis campaign was to put it on Twitter and complain about it, or to put it on some back end of the website that was publicly available to everyone. They couldn't directly tell the campaign, your message sucks, even though they thought it did. It was very difficult to coordinate with them. There's also something else that the political committees can do that no nonprofit in America can do. I mentioned this the other day. It's very important you understand this. The Republican National Committee and the Democratic National Committee can do voter registration drives that only register Republicans or Democrats. If you're a nonprofit like Stacey Abrams, Fair Fight Georgia, or Charlie Kirk's Turning Point USA, they're both 501c3s, they can't exclude people from a political party. They have to do nonpartisan voter registration drives. So if a Democrat comes up to Turning Point USA or a Republican goes up to Stacey Abrams Fair Fight, you can't turn them away. If you do, you violated your 501c3 status. However, the Republican National Committee and the Democratic National Committee and the Republican Party and the Democratic Party of your state can do explicitly partisan voter registration drives that refuse to register people of the other party. And then they can do explicit get out the vote efforts that explicitly target people of their party to get them out to vote. No one else can do that. So if Never Back Down goes away tomorrow, or Save America, Donald Trump Super PAC goes away tomorrow, or Turning Point USA goes away tomorrow, or Stacey Abrams Fair Fight, well, it went away the other day. If they go away, political parties can still operate, but if the political parties go away, no one else can coordinate with the candidate. It's really important you understand that. I realize that it's a boring point here, but the point is there are outside grifter groups on the right who are trying to convince Republicans who hate the Republican National Committee that you should not give them money. If you kill the Republican National Committee, you're costing Donald Trump the election. You're costing Donald Trump the election because only the party committee can flow money to the presidential campaign. Only the party committee can coordinate with the presidential campaign for get out the vote efforts, for voter registration efforts, for media targeting efforts, for advertising, for messaging, for polling, for anything the campaigns do. Only the party committees can coordinate. No one else can. So you kill it off, you starve it of money, you're hurting the campaign. Now, this is brought to bear by the news today that the Republican National Committee is running out of money. Republican donors are not stepping up. Matt Rosendale, who's looking at running for the Senate in Montana, raised less than $1 million. MAGA donors are given to Trump. They're not given to him. Carrie Lake is struggling for money. She's not doing well for money in Arizona. And Trump's own PACs are not doing well. So MAGA Inc. Has $23.25 million on hand, which sounds good, except it spent $20 million on independent expenditures and sent $30 million to Save America PAC to cover Trump's legal fees and burned $4.7 million on operating expenditures. MAGA PAC, which was the 2016-2020 campaign committee, received $5.9 million from Save America, spent $5.9 million, including $4 of that on legal fees, and it only has on hand $572,828. The Save America PAC is the big one. It raised $6.6 million. It sent $30 million, got $30 million refunded by MAGA Inc. It spent $35.2 million. Over $25 million of that was on Trump's legal bills. and $110,000 on Melania Trump's stylist. It only has $5 million on hand. Trump's main fundraising vehicle, Save America Joint Fundraising Committee, brought in $75 million in the second half of 2023, burned $27 million on operating costs, and then sent $42 million to the Trump 24 campaign and $6 million to the Save America Leadership PAC, some of it for legal bills. Donald Trump's campaign has $33 million cash on hand. Spent $3.7 million on legal consulting. Let's compare that to the Democrats. The main Biden super PAC has $24 million compared to Donald Trump's Make America Great Again Inc. super PAC, which has $23 million. Not bad, $1 million more. But Joe Biden raised over $100 million, and the DNC raised over $100 million and has about $100 million cash on hand. All of Trump's entities combined have half of what Joe Biden has. The Republican National Committee has less than $9 million left in the bank and is looking to take on an outside loan to be able to cover the costs of the campaign season. The GOP and the Trump operation are cash starved in large part because of the massive legal bills that are being paid. The money actually matters. And now you've got these outside grifters on the right who are telling people don't give money to the RNC. You're only legally allowed to give up to $6,600 to Donald Trump. Now, the good news for Trump is that Joe Biden's massive fundraising haul, a lot of it is maxed out donors who can never give to Joe Biden again. Donald Trump can go back to these people and ask for more money because very few, only about a quarter of Donald Trump's donors have maxed out to him, giving him $6,600. There's a lot more money for Trump to tap in. The problem is Trump's donors aren't stepping up and writing checks right now. So the Democrats are cash rich and the Republicans are cash poor right now. And you have the outside grifters saying, don't send them any more money, send it to us instead, and we'll use it. Meanwhile, they're paying for parties. They got these big properties that they own for various reasons. And the Republicans are being bled dry internally. The Democrats are a more homogenous operation right now. The Democrats are in this to win it. The Republicans are not. That's the bottom line. There is an entire class within the conservative business space now, Con Inc. we should call it, that makes a lot of money and loses. And by losing, they can fuel people's raging anger to get more money, and they never have to be burdened with governing. The Democrats want the power. The Republicans seem to want the money. This is going to be a huge problem moving forward. I don't know if y'all saw the Morning Consult polling has Donald Trump just crushing Joe Biden in all the swing states. Now, Morning Consult actually isn't a great pollster. It's like the 115th best pollster in America. It's an online poll, which online polls are terrible. But let's just take it for what it's worth. Let's take the polling averages. In the polling averages, Donald Trump is ahead in 5 of the 7 swing states right now. Joe Biden has barely begun to spend money, and the Republicans don't have any money, and that money can be spent to define Trump early with independent voters. We have to get the RNC to fix itself and fund it on the right if you want Donald Trump to win, because the outside entities, they can't coordinate with him. They can't do stuff. This is a huge problem that you can see right now manifesting itself and rippling through the entire election season. No one's paying attention to it, which is why I thought it was important to start here today. There's a massive fundraising advantage on the Democratic side right now, and all the people that the donors on the right are giving money to can't coordinate with the Trump campaign to ensure his message, consistency, and victory. It is an Achilles heel on the right that needs to be fixed.